Hello, sister.
Hey, brother.
What is up?
Uh,
It's
just a
been,
lazy Saturday.
yeah, it's been a whole
Yeah,
week since last time. I know we said we record this bi-weekly
we're
and
fucking
release it
liars.
bi-weekly, but I mean, we're both not doing anything that busy.
Yeah, and it's good to put some in the vault.
Yeah, just in case something comes up.
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of we have to still put them out like in a certain order. We can't just be like, oh, just put one out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's
So we kind
all
of
chain
screwed
linked.
ourselves. Yeah, I guess. I'm ready to talk about movies. I even took off Ari's little collar.
Oh, yeah, that's like the main thing I noticed while editing. Besides like us moving the mics.
Yeah, I do. I don't know why we did that because I do that a lot. Like I have to have stuff in my hands. Like right now, I have a pen in my hand.
Gotcha. I see.
Not the mic anymore. It's stationary.
As it should be. So
Okay.
this is the catching up part. I know it's been only a week, but what's new?
Um, my carpets are clean. I got a free carpet cleaning.
What?
Yeah, when I renewed my lease. That's riveting, I know, but yeah, I got a free carpet cleaning.
Wow.
Um,
And a bag of candy, right?
well, yeah, but that's long gone. They gave me that like a while back.
Uh,
But yeah, I got that. They're gonna fix my windows.
oh yeah, because you've been having like a pest problem.
Kind of. I don't know if it's because of the windows, but it doesn't help that there's basically a hole in them. That the like,
Yeah.
if you look at the windows, they're like crooked, and so, or if you look at the like framing of it, and so the actual windows don't fit. It's like slanted, but the windows that they put in are not. So they have to come and measure them and like make custom ones. So that's fun.
You're very high maintenance.
I know. I was I felt bad when I told them, but I was like, but I mean, I live here, so like
Yeah.
I want it to be functionable. That's not a
Roach
word.
free.
Functional. Yeah, but the roaches are coming from I haven't had one in a while actually, but they come from the kitchen.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, it's because it's getting hot. Texas is hell,
The
so the
worst.
roaches live here. Yep. But yeah, I think that's what's new with me. How about you?
Well, yesterday was David's birthday, so I went to his place and we just played Smash and went swimming. I finished my I think I don't know. I finished a video. I don't think it's the last edit though. I'll send it to you after and I'll see what you think.
Okay.
But I forgot to put like an end card. So
Oh.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't really been doing anything.
Okay. Well, there's something new that I would like to discuss.
What happened?
The Cats trailer. It happened to all of us this past.
Oh my goodness.
This is gonna kind of date. I don't know exactly when we're putting this out. This is kind of dated, but like I feel like there's no like expiration date on when we're able to talk about this.
Oh yeah.
It is truly the wildest trailer I have ever seen in my entire life.
I very reluctantly watched it because I knew it was gonna be like gross and oh my goodness. What are your thoughts? First thoughts as a Cats the
Okay.
musical lover.
Yes, so I guess I need to preface this. Me and Emily, our sister, we were huge Cats fans. We loved it. We watched it all the damn time. I even had, this is kind of embarrassing, but I even had like one of my birthday parties whenever we lived in Alaska was Cats themed.
I do not remember that, and I'm so
Well,
glad that
you
I
were,
did not.
yeah, because you were young, and it was wild. But anyways, that's how big of a fan I am. And we even saw them. They like I've seen it twice in person. I've seen the movie millions of times and I've seen it twice in person. And it's just it's such a weird musical. Like if you really think about it, it's strange in general. So the fact that they're making a movie, I mean, there already is technically a movie, but the fact that they're making a movie is like, it is going to be weird no matter what, if you think about what kind of musical it is. But
Yeah.
I had no idea this is what they were going to do.
It
I,
seems like a fever dream. Like someone
exactly.
watched Lion King and like had a fever dream the following night.
They're like, dude, what if we did that, but like they look like people? And I mean, I guess if you do watch the actual musical, like the one that they put out, that is it's weird to explain because it's like basically a recording of the musical, but it's a movie. And so if you watch that movie or if you've ever seen it, then I mean, I guess this is, if you're going to digitize it, this is the way to
Next
do
step.
that. But like,
Yeah.
why? Like, I texted Emily and I told her, please just drop what you're doing and watch it right now. And she watched it, and that was her question. Like, why not do practical effects? What's the point? What? Why? That scene. That scene in the trailer where they're all dancing, it's like a bunch of them, that freaked me out. Like like I had such a visceral reaction to it.
uh,
It's so creepy. Why would they do that?
they did it. You know, it's crazy. When did Cat in the Hat come out? Because they have not changed their effects at all. You feel like as time goes on, like
Oh no.
you would have better technology to make something better that Mike Myers did in Cat in the Hat, but nope, he could fit right into that movie. And
This
if
is
they don't
how they
have
pitched it.
Mike Myers everywhere,
Okay, so do you remember the hit Cat in the Hat featuring Mike Myers?
I can't.
Imagine that, but every person in the movie.
Oh my goodness.
It's a nightmare. I'm obviously going to see it though. Like,
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
ugh, and then Taylor Swift. I don't want to get into that because that's like a. But like the casting is strange, and
James Corden,
oh
his
my god.
character freaked me out. I was, I don't even want to. I was freaked out, to say the
And
least.
and his character. I mean, the ones that they showed are like. I don't know. I mean, I do kind of. It's been a long time since I've seen it, like the musical. But I just don't understand the casting. And I
Jason
think
Derulo,
his
he looks like a cat, like in real life. So
I think that out of all of them in the trailer, his was kind of like not shown a lot, but out of all of them in the trailer, his was not that bad. Like they blended his face and the fur like okay-ish.
yeah.
But they did Jennifer Hudson so wrong. She looks
Yeah,
like a crack cat.
crack
Like
cat.
she looks insane. And I mean, I
Yeah.
guess all of them look weird. Like the one, I don't know who plays. I know the white cat, her I know her name is Victoria. I don't know. I think it's like a new like ballerina. I don't know who plays her, but like she looked insane too.
Yeah, they like just got rid of her entire face and just
And each scene that they showed, and I'm guessing this is the whole movie, each of the scenes they look different. Wildly different. Like Jennifer Hudson in that one like what they chose to put as the screen cap of the actual trailer, that frame looks different than another one. Like there's one where she looks normal, and then there's one where she looks like she's missing like millions of hairs. Like it looks so weird. I just don't, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, because even in the like the set looks practical because from when they showed like a little behind the scenes thing before they sent the trailer, they they actually had that set. So I don't understand where is this coming from? Why would they do that?
I didn't really pay that much attention. I had to watch it one time and then try to
I just
forget.
have so many questions. We need to move on. I can't. I could talk about this for hours. It is so. I don't understand it, and I don't think I will even more whenever the movie comes out. My final word on it is that. It, I guess if you're gonna make it this way, if you're gonna try to like avatar it, I guess this is the way to do it. I don't trust it, and I don't like it, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. And that's
I,
that on that.
I guess my final thought
Yeah.
would be a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Cats and Cat in the Hat would make the greatest, most unnecessary crossover that I really need.
You know what I would love is if they don't lean into it, if they just like if just in one scene in the background he was just there.
He's like, what it do?
I mean, this movie is so wild already that I wouldn't even be surprised. Like if they just tried to sneak him in there.
I'd be glad. That would be awesome.
Well,
But enough on that. Enough on that.
now let's talk about a less creepier movie.
Let's Creep.
Creep. Okay. So,
You suggested it last time.
yes. And should we how do you want to structure this? Do you want to just talk about I guess we could just I just want your thoughts then. That's the first thing I want is I just want your reaction to it.
My reaction, because I told you I'd watched it and you were like, save it for the pod.
Yeah.
My immediately after watching it, the first thing I thought was that was an amazing ending, and I would have been fine if it ended like as soon as, well, I guess we'll go straight into spoilers.
Yeah, that's fine.
As soon as Joseph kills Aaron, I was like, that's a perfect ending. Like I don't need any more. I feel satisfied. And as soon as it went on to the rest of the sequence, I guess like the final shot, I was hooked. I was hooked even more, and it was amazing. And it was
Which final shot? Like the one where he screams or the one where he shows all the videotapes?
both of those where he screams.
It just like kept
and-
going.
Yeah, it just kept on going. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't ask for this, but I really needed this from this movie. You know,
Yeah.
it's set up so much, and it seems a little like tacky because he's like, this isn't the first, or I don't know. And like in retrospect, it doesn't seem that significant, but to me, in the moment, I was satisfied with just the way that he ended it, or the way that they ended it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really happy with that final sequence. And I was genuinely creeped out by Mark Duplass in this. Genuinely, I was like, if I met him in real life, I wouldn't stop thinking about this movie and how he played him. Oh my gosh.
He's very I mean, there's no we're gonna probably say the word creepy and creep so many times, but there's no
very-
other way to like describe it. That's like the perfect title.
Yeah, he was very unsettling, I guess.
Oh yeah, super. Because that's one thing that I kind of like that I wrote. I wrote some notes where I said,
Yeah, I wrote some notes during the movie.
yeah, where I really liked because this is the second or maybe second or third time I've seen this. I did forget some things, and so it was nice to watch it again and like catch certain things now that I'm like, oh, I have to talk about this, so like let me actually pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
But I really love movies where the villain, or like scary movies where the villain, or I guess we'll just say villain, antagonist, yeah. So where
Yeah.
the antagonist isn't like there's no theatrics tied to it. Like he's just a creepy guy. I mean, from obviously he's the serial killer, but he's creepy. And there's
It could be
nothing
anyone.
yeah, and like you can tell like he is kind of like from the beginning he is unsettling, like you said, like there's something wrong about him, but like there's a lot of people that I've met like that. Like you meet people on the bus like that. So that's what's creepy is that it brings that whole like you like I think there's a statistic where like through your life you'll meet like X amount of serial killers. It
Yeah,
made me
yeah.
think of that a lot where like this guy is obviously this is a movie and it's fake and this guy's an actor, but it's not far off that like somebody that you've met somebody like that that gave you a feeling like that.
Exactly. That was the first note that I wrote. Was
Mhm.
this is weird from the get-go.
Yeah.
So,
And there's
Yeah.
something weird about somebody that just likes to scare people.
hmm
And I mean,
Yeah.
I like our family does that a lot. Like I remember always going to the restroom downstairs. I would always prepare myself. Like I'd always
Yeah.
be like, okay, so somebody might scare you. So there's
Definitely.
something like imagine going and meeting somebody and they did that constantly, like somebody not being your family doing
Yeah,
that.
a stranger, complete stranger.
And I guess that I had a question that or something I want to like I guess pose to you is at what point do you think you would have tried to leave?
Oh, as a robot, it's immediately after he was like, "Can I get a hug?" I'd be like,
I don't trust
bro,
that."
What is this?
He was the leggings.
If I'm being realistic, that was just a joke. But if I was being
Yeah.
realistic, definitely after the tub scene. Maybe before, like as soon as he starts like stripping, I'd be like, this is a little too far. I think this is where I'm gonna call it quits.
Mm, I think
Definitely that part.
But I mean, I guess this is like bringing in like a. If I'm putting myself into that situation, like first of all, if it were me, I would have never put myself in that situation.
That's
Like
true.
I would have never agreed to film somebody on my own. But that's just me. But I guess if I was in it, that would be it too, because that to just like strip in front of a camera for
Yeah.
like with no hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess maybe that's also like bringing in the whole like he's done this before kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, he's like, if I were realistically in this movie, I wouldn't even go to that site. I wouldn't even go to Craigslist to look for a job
Oh,
posting.
that's true.
So obviously he needed the money and he was that desperate just to get the $1,000 bucks.
True, yeah.
So there is that aspect. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I felt bad for him, but at the same time, he could have gotten out of there quicker. Could have.
It's hard to say that though, because like I've been in situations where you want to think that you would like if somebody were to say something to you or if something were to happen to you, you'd be like, oh, I would never let that happen. And I've been in situations where like I've said before that I would have done a certain thing or I would have stopped it, but then when I was actually in it, I didn't. So
Gotcha.
you never know. I mean, if you're uncomfortable enough, then you'll just like do whatever to get yourself out of it, and sometimes getting out means like going through it, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a very good movie though. I really like it.
Oh yeah. I guess the
Very
main
bare
thing
bones.
I wanted to know before we go through, I don't know if you want to go
Yeah.
through like chronologically through our notes or because that's how I took them.
I only took 3 notes and I already mentioned them.
Oh, okay. I took it like chronologically as I was
Okay.
watching it. I was like, whoa.
Well, since you're the person that like hasn't seen it, I would like to know your notes. And I didn't take many because I knew that you would probably have some.
Okay. Okay. But before that, I want to
Yeah.
ask, why specifically did you pick this movie as the first pick for this podcast? Why this one?
There's a couple reasons. One, we had talked about it, and I think you mentioned it, or no, that's when you asked me. When you asked me, like, because I have a lot of people in my life that'll just randomly text me asking me, like, "Hey, I'm bored. What should I watch on Netflix?" Because they know that I just like scour through it and I like look
Seen
and like
everything.
most things, and so whenever people ask for a horror film, which is generally like the main question I get is for, or the main request is for horror films, and this is like one of the first that I say, mostly because it's not like, I don't know why. I think it just, I like for people to like see other horror because rather than just seeing like something that's very formulaic, and they could be good. I don't want to say like formulaic in a bad way. Like Insidious is, but it's still a really good movie where it has a lot of jump scares and it kind of goes through the motions of a lot of horror films. But it's still good. But I just like showing people like other stuff and like I just really respect horror as like a genre, and I really love it, and a lot of it's disrespected a lot, and so I like to show people like a good horror that's not like there's not many theatrics, so there's not a lot of costumes and stuff that like an Insidious or Exorcist or all that would have, and show that like stuff like that can still be scary. I also really like found footage. That's like one of my
Yeah.
favorite like sub horror genres.
The way they did that aspect of
Yeah,
this movie was really cool.
it's very creative, and I just love. I don't know. I like showing that. I guess I wanted to set the tone of like what I like in movies, and I like bare bones. I like stuff that's not like it doesn't look like it costs a lot because I like the creativity of it. It's. I mean, the main reason is because you haven't seen it, and I really love this movie. But I guess that's the tone of like the movies that I'll pick.
Gotcha.
Is very is I want to show people like different stuff because I bet if somebody were to actually like, you know, follow our club and like watch it, I guaranteed somebody's not gonna like it. But like at least you've seen other stuff and you know you don't like this kind of movie, you know?
That's true. Mm-hmm.
So that's, I guess that's a long-winded answer for as to why, but yeah.
Oh, that's fine. All right, that was a pretty good answer. I'm content. I guess I'll go through my notes.
Yeah.
So the first thing I put was that it was weird from the get-go.
Yeah.
And then I put there is no way Tubby is a real thing. So I was already skeptical from the get-go.
Tubby.
Yeah, and then I wrote I wasn't really sure what I would do if I was Aaron at that point. Just because you're watching this guy go through, I mean, from his perspective, a guy who has cancer and he's recording this video for his kid. And he wants
Yeah, like,
to have
how do you
this
say
Tubby.
no?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's just a weird scenario, and I don't know how I would feel in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was skeptical from the get-go. I put starting to think it's not real, think he just made it up. And then I guess I didn't take any notes until when they went to the forest after the Tubby scene.
Yeah.
And I wrote, honestly, I would just leave him in the forest. Because when he ran off, I would leave because he has the keys. Like, there's no reason for me to stay. And then I guess there was a point in the forest after he scared him. After Joseph scared Aaron, Joseph said that there was a little peach fuzz inside of him. I just thought that was kind of gross. And then they mentioned the axe.
Yeah,
that?
I noticed that too, yeah.
So, foreshadowing, obviously. Yeah, the whole forest scene was very off-putting to me.
I love a good forest scene though. Very Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Love a
But
good
it was
Blair
nice,
Witch
too.
moment. Yeah.
And after that scene, I was pretty eager to see exactly what was wrong with this guy. Like, what was his deal? Because obviously he's lonely, and if the kid whole story is fake, then like what gets this guy ticking? Like, why is he doing this? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess from then on, I was eager to see what the heck is going on with this guy. And then, oh my goodness, the peach fuzz story, like the real reason why he has peach fuzz, that's where it started like really being super creepy for me.
Yeah,
I was like,
yikes.
yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. And I told Kayla this story because I told her I was watching it, and Kayla is my girlfriend. I guess I should say that.
Yeah.
I told her about the movie, and I was like, unsettling, and she was like, I'm not gonna watch it because
Why?
if it's freaking you out, there's no way I can make it through it.
Does she not like horror films? I thought she does.
She does not.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
She really does not. But I told her the story, and she almost threw up. So.
Oh God, yeah.
That was pretty insane.
I mean, it's an insane story, but I love how they did it. I love how it was you didn't see them.
I was honestly.
It's very clever.
I didn't see anything, but it was probably the scariest scene for me.
Because then you're like, what do you look at? You know, like.
Yeah. Because you're just like thinking, or at least for me, I was thinking, what is Joseph's like expression? What does his face look like right now? And to me, it was just like a creepy. I don't know how to describe it. It was just.
Well, and it's also really smart because like, the thing that's scary about the thing that I love about like found footage or especially like Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity, which are two of my favorite movies of like all time, is that they don't show you a lot. And so they leave a lot to your imagination, which is your imagination. I mean, I guess if you're really fucked up like we probably are, your imagination is like the scariest thing, you know? Mm-hmm. Because there has no bounds. Because this movie has like certain movies, and I won't get into a rant just yet, but certain horror films don't go as far as they should, in my opinion. But but that's because there's a lot of studios, there's people, like there's ratings, there's all these things that kind of that go into that as to why stuff is held back, but your imagination doesn't do that. And so like it was very clever for them to have a blacked out screen rather than showing anything or showing them. You would, if they showed a image of him, then you would obviously be focused on him because like you said, you want to know what his expressions were, but instead you're forced to to see it in your mind happening. And then you feel gross because you're like, well, they didn't show me that. They're telling it to me, but I pictured it and I can picture it. Yeah.
And
so I love that they did that.
It's a pretty insane story.
Yeah.
And then I guess all the like kerfuffle happened, and then Aaron was at his house, and he got the discs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had kind of a suggestion. I mean, they can't really implement this now because the movie's already out, but I wanted. So I don't know if you remember. The final disc, Aaron sits down and he puts it in. And
wait, can I guess?
Yeah, go for it.
You wanted him to be in the background somewhere?
Yeah, like after the video ended, I wanted it to like go black, and I wanted the shadow in the back because I feel like that would have been really cool. Maybe too predictable because it started and you could see Aaron's shadow and the window behind him. Maybe that would have been too predictable. I don't know. I felt like that would have been cool.
I wonder if they filmed it because the way they framed it, or maybe I wish we could like. This is times where I wish we could like talk to them because one of my questions would be like if they did that purposely, like if they framed a lot of the shots that way, because I would do that because you want people to be freaked out and be looking at certain things and like yeah. Well, I would like to think they did that, but who knows.
Then I was like, what do you do? What do you do at this point? Like after the video ends, you watch it, you're like, I don't know what you do. And he said it perfectly. He was like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? Like, and then this
is the first one. Which video?
It was the last video when he pretty much explained everything. Joseph explained everything.
And then he was like, I don't know, he looks sad. I'm like, dude, fuck, he's not. Leave him alone. Yeah. Like when he's like, oh, he's sad.
Yeah, I totally would not have been sympathetic towards him.
Yeah.
And then my final note, which I already said, was that I would have been content after that death scene.
Yeah.
But it was perfect.
Then I wonder though, because like if you think about it, like the end is in 3 beats. So they have where he like hits him with the axe and then he like screams, which I love. My favorite moment in the entire movie is when he screams in the video and then he screams when he's watching.
Oh yeah.
So good. Funny. I mean, I think it was hilarious. Every time I see it, I laugh.
His face is really funny.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm just, like I said, I'm probably just fucked up. But yeah, so that and then the third is like where he puts the video up. I wonder if they like. If they thought, because if I was writing it or if I was filming it, I would have been like, is that too many things, you know? But it was perfect the way they did it.
Yeah, the way they did it was fantastic. And I wish they had enough resources, or maybe, I don't know if they like would want to do this, but I want to see all those videos.
I see, but I don't want to because I like the mystique of it.
Yeah.
You know he's done all those things, but you just don't know exactly how, if he did it the same way every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have you seen Creep 2?
I have, yeah.
The sequel? Okay, so because I said I wanted to watch all those, I immediately watched Creep 2.
Oh, you did?
I did. I really did. Ooh. We could talk about it if you want.
Maybe we can watch it at a different time. I don't want to, because if people were to like, I would feel bad if people were to actually see it and then we would spoil the second one and they didn't know there was a second one. The only thing I'll say is the ending is, I thought about it for days.
Oh, yes.
That's all I'll say.
Oh my goodness.
It is so good.
The endings for both of them are absolutely perfect.
But it is, but the second one, it shook me. Because those movies, I mean, the main theme, and I'm just gonna say it all the time, is that I'm a very messed up person. But like, movies like this don't really bother me for a good amount of time. Like even Midsummer didn't really like stick with me.
Yeah.
Like people said it would like get stuck with people, but that I don't know why that small moment in the second one just stuck with me for so long. Like I could not stop thinking about it.
Yeah. I feel the exact same way.
I was kind of worried because the one thing I really liked about, I guess there's another thing I'll say, but the other one I really liked about the first one was that it would be easier and creepier to do it with, like, have a woman be like Aaron's character.
Yeah.
So I like that they used a man. I don't know if that sounds weird, but like I like that, like, because there's the whole stalking and like how he loved him thing. Like, I like that they did that with a man. I mean, obviously he probably didn't discriminate at all, but
Oh, definitely not.
like throughout all those tapes. Also, were those VHS tapes?
Yeah, you could see like the progress because he started so early on that they were VHS tapes.
Oh, that's so smart. I didn't even think of
Oh my goodness. You're like, you were just thinking,
Like,
bro,
what a
step up your
dummy.
game.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
No, it shows the progress.
Wow, for so long.
Yeah, he's been doing that for so
But
long that.
also, I have questions for that sister.
Oh yeah.
Tell him he's gonna straight up kill you. Get out of there, or kill him. Like how? What?
I'm going to need you to get up and walk out.
Oh my god, I got so mad. It's like, bitch, just say it. Whatever. Okay. Well, I have some fun facts. Do you
Oh
want
yeah, I
some
was.
fun?
Yeah, I'm looking at IMDb at the moment.
Well, I wrote them down because I'm an old woman. So,
Gotcha.
so this one didn't have a lot actually, because I
Yeah,
thought
it
I
only had-
usually like 4, right?
There's 3.
Oh, 3. I wrote something else, but I don't know what it is. Okay, so the first one is that it's based on a series of conversations between Patrick Bryce, which is the director, and he
And-
played Aaron.
Aaron, yes.
Yeah, and him and Mark Duplass. So how I read it is how they like talked to each other, and they filmed it, and then they wanted to do like some sort of black comedy or like really dark comedy or something.
Yes.
And then after they showed it to their friends, their friends like told them like, hey, you should make this into a horror film. And so my question based off of that is, I wonder if like Mark Duplass was like, why? They were like, dude, you were really fucking creepy in this. And then he was like, oh, we literally just had a conversation. I wasn't trying to play that.
I'm not even acting. This is just me. I have some tapes I want to show you guys. This one's titled Aaron.
But he is a good creepy guy. I mean, he's like, because I've seen him in other movies and I've seen him like just in interviews and stuff. And I mean, I guess there is a creepy side to him. Like his smile is kind of creepy if you do it a certain way, if you like frame it a certain way.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
I just wonder, that's my first question is, was he offended? Secondly, it's supposed to be a trilogy, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
They're making a third one.
Very excited for that. I want to see where they go with it.
I am too, because I'm not, I mean, another rant that is for another day is I'm not a huge sequel fan or like reboot fan. So when I heard of this second one, that, I don't know when I think it came out like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. I wasn't,
2017, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't like I wasn't thrilled about it. But when I finally watched it, obviously I was like blown away. So I'm excited. I am still skeptical because of the person that still doesn't like sequels, but I'm excited. I'll watch it, obviously. And the last one I have, which I'm not surprised about, is that it was totally improvised.
Yeah.
Almost totally improvised. Like they would have like basically like the skeleton of what they wanted to do, and then they just like with the dialogue and all that, they did that on the day.
That's, to me, very impressive.
Yeah.
To do that.
I mean, that it ended up well, because I've seen a lot of movies that, because a lot of filmmakers, I think the Duplass brothers do this in a lot of their films, but there's another guy, I think it's Joe Swanberg, and he does movies like this too, where he just like doesn't script it at all, and some of them work well and some of them don't, but this one was, to do a horror film like that, I think is very ballsy.
Yeah, and it was very cool. When I read that, I was like, what the? I can't believe.
How?
I can't even imagine. Yeah.
But
And the fact it was just the two of them the entire movie.
yeah,
So cool. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Oh,
It's and I think another reason I like this movie is that it shows well, what I've said before is that there's not much that you put into it. Like if you think about it, anybody I mean anybody could have made it. That doesn't mean it would be good, but like it's so accessible, and it I like watching movies like that where like it makes you, as somebody who wants to be a filmmaker, it makes you like a little less like stressed about, oh well, I don't have money to be one. Like you don't have to necessarily have
yeah.
tons of money, and that's
Just
what,
two guys
yeah,
improvising horror. It's easy
and
as
that's
that.
what
Just do
the
it.
but that's what the Duplass brothers like are very big advocates for, is that they're, and I just love their films, and I just love them as people, that they're very big into like it's an elitist like industry, but to get into it or to like to just make films, like it doesn't have to be that way.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. They have a book I need to read, but I have so many books that I have yet to read.
Well, that's Creep.
Well, should we do a rating? We did one for Stuber.
I'll say a 9.5 out of 10. Just nah, I'll go full 10 because I really liked it.
I was gonna say what was the half?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Full 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't yeah, I would say so too. Number ratings are weird, but like there's not much I would change
Yeah. Other than
or I
that,
would want, you know?
like shadow thing,
Yeah, but
maybe that's the 9.5. No.
I guess that's kind of like that wasn't a problem in the movie. That's just something
Oh
you
no.
wanted.
Yeah. Definitely
I
10 out of 10 because I still think
yeah.
about the movie and I've seen. I mean, it hasn't been that long, but I definitely will still be thinking about the movie weeks from now.
Is that something that's one thing that I wonder about horror films is do they have to stay with you to like be a good horror film? Because I've seen so many that I really love where they haven't done that.
Uh, well, for me, it's not just horror movies. It's like I want a good movie to stick
Oh,
with me no
gotcha.
matter what. Like, I'm gonna go back to this again.
Oh
Interstellar.
my god.
Think about it always. I just think about that
I feel like
movie.
you're just trying to like you're just fucking with me and you just want to like mention it every episode somehow.
I'm not. I'm
No, I'm
serious.
kidding. I'm kidding.
That movie. First thing that popped in my mind when I said that I want a movie to stick with me.
I'd see. Maybe I don't have a soul because not a lot of movies do that with me. The last one I can think of, and I guess this is my Interstellar. Do you know what I'm gonna say?
Um,
I guess not. Hereditary. That
Hereditary.
one,
Oh.
yeah, that one did stick with me for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't think of a like that was I saw that like a year ago. But like I said, maybe I'm just soulless and I don't really as a, even it's maybe well another thing too is I watch a lot of movies,
That's true.
so I don't know. But does that make a good movie, or is that's
Um.
one of the elements for you? Well, what about Interstellar stuck with you?
Oh, as far as does it make it a good movie? Not necessarily. It definitely makes a good story, and I really like
Okay.
good stories. Interstellar to me, what stuck with me. Well, first of all, I cried during the movie.
Did you really?
I did. I
In
really did.
theaters,
I
or
don't
did you
remember.
see it in theaters?
I don't remember seeing it in theaters.
So are you a
Maybe I.
true fan?
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I really don't remember seeing it in a theater. But just it's so sad because if you haven't seen
Yeah.
Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey's character, he has to leave Earth to go through this wormhole to see if 10 or 12 planets are sustainable for human life.
Mm.
And he has to leave his kid behind. And spoiler alert. Kids, yeah. Well,
But
there's
he only cares about the
Casey
daughter,
Affleck.
though.
Yeah, Casey Affleck is a
Yeah, that's a good choice not to care about him, though.
intentional casting. What was I saying? Oh, at the end of the movie, spoiler, he is he's only aged like a year, and she is like 100 and something, and that's just I can't imagine going through that. And I think it really is the score and the way Hans Zimmer composed that, because I don't know if I'm getting this right, but I remember watching an interview. Let me paraphrase here. Pretty much Christopher Nolan told Hans Zimmer, for the main theme, I want it to be about a father losing his daughter. And that was like the main theme. So when you hear the soundtrack, that's what Hans Zimmer wrote for. And it's just, it fits so well and it's so compelling to me. Just the organ use and just everything about it. And it really spoke to me, bro. I don't know. It was really good. It was really fantastic.
Do you not cry a lot during movies? So is that
No.
why it stuck out?
Yes. I other than that movie, I think the only one I've cried to is Seeking Your Friend for the End of the World with Steve Carell. Probably those two, maybe. But yeah, definitely that. Just crying in the theater or at home stuck out, but just so many different aspects about it. And I love science and interstellar travel.
I love science.
I love science. I'm a man of science. So just that too was really cool to see that.
Somebody asked me the other day, or asked like in a group setting, when's the last time you like cried? Or no, I think they asked, do you cry? They asked, do you cry when you watch movies? And I said, if I'm alone. And people started laughing, and I was like, that's not a joke. Because
totally
I rarely cry during like when I'm around people because I'm a robot as well. But yeah, I think the only one I can think of that I've cried like in public is Imitation Game.
Gotcha.
There's a certain part that gets me every time. But
that's a sad story too.
Yeah, it's an okay movie, and there's really good acting in it, and I liked it. But yeah, I guess going back to the whole like sticking with you thing, like this one didn't, from what I can remember. Like I said, I haven't seen it in a while, but
Creep, or what movie are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wonder, because I always see that I hate seeing, like when scary movies come out, I hate seeing these like quotes that people put up, like even for like Midsummer, all these like, oh, it's more fucked up than Hereditary, or that's the thing I saw is like, oh, this one is gonna mess me up for life, and like, how? But I mean, I guess that's just, I need to ask somebody that it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, but maybe I just watched too many messed up things, because to me it was very tame.
Maybe.
Creep is pretty tame too.
Yeah, I mean there isn't a whole lot of like graphic scenes besides the last one.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things on IMDb. It was like what is it called? Like the mess ups in the movie. That there wasn't any blood splatter during that scene, and there should have been. Or any blood in that scene actually at all. Maybe it was the distance.
I think there was. Too far. Just a little bit.
You telling me IMDb is wrong?
Yeah. I'll say that confidently that they're probably wrong. I mean, it's not a Tarantino movie. Like, there's no need to put that much blood. Yeah. We get the idea.
I guess. But yeah, well, I had one more thing I forgot about Creep.
About Creep?
I don't remember. Move on. I don't remember. I don't even know why I brought it up.
Okay, well, I think that's all I have to say about it. That's that on that.
That's that on that.
Good movie.
Fantastic movie.
The second one is just as good, from what I can remember. I think I've only seen that one once, but
I remember liking it less. But
but I mean, that comes with sequel territory, though.
Yeah, without a doubt. Still a good movie, though.
Dude, that's my biggest. I guess we can get to like put more content on this thing, but you can cut this out if you want. But that's my biggest pet peeve too. When like a good movie comes out, that's the question? Oh, is there gonna be a sequel?
That's because
Like I even saw that for like Midsummer was like the most recent, like other than Stuber, but like nobody wants a sequel for that. But like Midsummer is
hold
the
your
most
tongue.
recent one. uh people were like, well, I wonder if he's gonna, and or even just in passing when I talk to people about it, well, I wonder if they're gonna make another one. Well, I hope not. Why would you do that again?
Yeah.
You know, like what else is there to say? Like I just hear that. I mean, there's some movies I guess where I would like, yeah, I would like to. I guess that would warrant one, but that's my biggest pet peeve when I talk to people about my movies and they like a movie and then they're like, I hope they make another one. Like, for what?
Well, they just want to be
No, but it's
content
I guess, but
with
like it's
an
for what
ending.
I mean though is for just like weird movies like that, like Midsummer. Like what would you
Gotcha.
like there's like I said, there's some movies where I guess I understand that, but when there's a finite ending and there's like the director obviously or the writer, director, whoever obviously said them like what they want to say, why would you ask for more? That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
I don't know.
I wish they. Here's what I wish. Maybe not a whole movie about what happens to Danny and Midsummer. I just want like maybe a little leaflet. Like, does she make it
Why?
out okay? Does she? I just want to know.
I guess I just don't I've never understood that's just a taste of mine, I guess. I just never understood when people want that.
Well, to
Or as
me,
somebody who writes, I mean, I haven't put out anything, so I haven't had people ask me that. But if I were to put out something and somebody were to say, like, oh, like, what happens to this person? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, you don't want to be a J.K. Rowling, right? You don't want to be somebody that just, like, constantly gives you shit that, like, nobody asked for this. Or, like, sure, I guess I wanted to know what Dumbledore was up to, but not anymore because you just keep telling us different shit, you know? Like, do
I
you really want
guess.
to know what happens to her? Because to me, it's clear. But if that's the point is that he wants you to like to take that and he wants you to interact with the movie. He wants you to like take it and do with it what you will, kind of thing, you know, like. But people don't. People want to be told exactly what happens, and I just never understood that. And maybe that's why I like movies like going back to Creep. Maybe that's why I like movies like that, or like just movies that don't give you a finite ending. I love those movies, but people don't like them because they want to know. They ask all these questions, and maybe that's where my pet peeve comes from.
Maybe people just don't want to think for themselves. Maybe that's it.
Which I don't get. Like, because then people complain, like, oh, well, what that was dumb. Like when we saw
Yeah.
Hereditary, people were like, well, what does that mean? And I'm like, well, why don't you like watch it again, or why don't you look it up? Like you can interact with a movie after you've seen it. You don't have to get it as soon as you see it. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's just my opinion. I don't want a bunch of Marvel movies that are like, here's what you got, and then here's a little bit more if you stay for the credits. Like I don't need that, you know.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sorry, that's a little tangent. You can cut the whole thing out.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so I think it's time.
Hold on, 1 second. 1 second. I remember what I was gonna say.
Okay.
As far as the soundtrack,
Oh,
it was also creepy because I was looking at it and it's all like folksy music, except for the very last song that they play while credits roll.
and Creep?
Yeah, yeah, for creep.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it fit well. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Because
Okay.
that's what I look for in movies. Soundtrack. I said that last episode. So I just.
I honestly, when you said soundtrack, I didn't even know there was
Why?
one.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, when I first watched it, I noticed that they used a lot more like folksy, like
In what parts though? I literally don't even know what scenes.
um.
If you told me that movie didn't have any music, I would be like, okay.
Well, I feel like the when he was driving at the beginning, maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
I was just looking at IMDb because I remembered that I
oh.
looked at soundtracks, so I was looking at the music that they had somewhere
You
in
don't
the
want to be a
movie.
liar.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But the very last song was like a heavy metal rock
Yeah.
song, which was cool. I really liked. It felt well.
It kind of scared me. I like turned it off because it was too loud.
Yeah, because I don't really know what you follow up with that whole ending. And the other songs on the soundtrack just didn't seem right, but that one, it felt right.
Fits.
Yeah, that's all I'll say. That's Creep's a good movie. If you haven't watched it and you've listened to all of this, I guess, go watch it. Go watch it.
Well, some people do like they don't like horror films, but they want to know like what happens before. I don't know. Like people could want to do that.
If you're that weird person, go watch it. It's worth it.
So before we get into your next pick, I'm wondering, and I guess we can you can keep this in or not, but I'm wondering like, do you want to follow a theme? Like I'll pick like we have our two picks and then we'll do the next cycle, I guess, where I'll pick again. But do you want to like for those two films like have a certain theme that we follow?
I'm okay with that. The only thing I'll say is you would be setting the theme every time, unless we choose together
Oh,
beforehand.
that's true.
That's the only thing I'll say for that. I'm cool with doing a theme.
Or
Definitely for these first two, we'll have a theme.
or we can do like a sort of call and response kind of thing. So
Okay.
where we'll do like I don't that's probably not the right way to word this, but I'll explain it to you. So I picked the first one and I pick the theme. So I pick kind of I'll say like okay, so I want to do my theme and we could do weird ones. So like this one we'll say is like um out of the box horror. So like something that you normally wouldn't consider horror or whatever.
Gotcha.
Um and then I pick one and you watch it and you're like, okay, so this is what she means by that. And then you pick what you think you would put into that category.
And just keep on
And
going.
then I pick like the last one, it'll be three. So you do that and then I'll pick the last word on it. Or
Gotcha.
something.
Okay.
Or something that reminded me of that's within that theme, but it like was picked after I watched the one that you picked.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if that's complicated.
No.
might
It's
be.
just 3 movies.
And then the next time you'll
Yeah.
start it off and then we'll
Okay.
just keep doing it like that.
All right. I'm okay with that. I like that.
We can try it.
And then eventually, if we get a following, we can ask people, hey,
Yeah.
what genre or what kind of movie should we watch, and then we'll pick from that, or maybe even what movie should we watch.
Yeah, or it could be like that. So like I don't know. Maybe we'll do it. We'll still do it in threes, or we'll do it in twos, where like I pick one and then you pick one, where you're like, oh, this kind of reminded me of it, and then I pick the last one. Or maybe it'll probably be easier to do threes, because like you said, if not, then I'll just pick every single time. Because
Yeah.
because I was thinking maybe we'll just do that. Like we'll continue to do that. Like I pick creep and then you pick one that reminds you of that. But then we'll just like pick the same ones. So
Yeah.
that's why doing it in threes would make it like reset kind of.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That sounds good.
We can try that.
Yeah, we'll work out the kinks. This is an evolving show.
Yeah.
All right, so my pick for this week.
Well, okay, wait.
is... Okay.
Oh, you shouldn't have. You told me beforehand, but I was gonna. You should have had me guess.
Well, I've never seen this movie, so.
Well, you didn't read like a synopsis because we're supposed to give a little synopsis.
Yeah, I have a quick sentence synopsis.
Okay, so then just do how you're gonna do it then.
Well, last time you guessed. I don't want you to guess this time.
Okay.
My pick is The Witch. That's it. It's The Witch. And it's about a family in the 1630s New England, and is torn apart by the forces of witchcraft, black magic, and possession. So it's about a family. I don't know. I've never seen it before. You have.
Yeah.
You've recommended it. You were surprised that I hadn't seen it.
I'm surprised that a lot of people haven't seen it, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I've only seen it once though. I think I've only seen it, or maybe twice, but I did see it in theaters, and that might have been the only time. So I haven't
Gotcha.
seen it in a very long time.
I'm excited. I'm looking at the images. It looks kind of creepy. Goats. I read this book, this series called The Last Apprentice, and in it, it's about like, it's kind of like the show Supernatural, but in like medieval times, and they use I guess goats are for like the devil, or it's like I guess it's not just that book series. But the goats, they just remind me of the devil. I don't know why I said all that. They just remind me of the devil. Goats are kind of creepy. Yes.
then I'm very excited for you to see this. I don't want to give anything away, but that, yeah. You'll like it then.
You're on the nose. You're on the nose.
You kinda, yeah.
While violence and gore is severe. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess. Watch, I say that, and then people are gonna watch and be like, "What the fuck?"
I don't think she knows what she's talking about. But I'm excited for it. I've heard good things.
What do you know about it? Do you know anything about it?
I know absolutely nothing about it.
But I can save this fun fact, or you can cut it out. But do you want like a little fun fact to entice you?
Ooh, sure.
I don't know if it'll entice you, but I think it's funny. So A24 has a podcast. I don't know if you listen to it, but they have one where they have like directors or just people like just people that are in their movies or they just pick like weird like pairings to interview each other. And the most recent one was the director of, I forgot his name, but the director of The Witch and then Ari Aster.
Robert Eggers.
Yeah, him and Ari Aster they interviewed each other, and one of the like things that they talked about was that, and I remember this too, but A24 to promote The Witch, which A24 is a very small, like, I think they're either production or distribution company. I don't know what exactly they are, but they use a lot of like guerrilla marketing or like viral marketing. And so for The Witch, they wanted to, and they pitched it to him that they wanted to get the Church of Satan. I think that's a church, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so
sure.
the Church of Satan, but they wanted the Church of Satan to endorse it.
Oh, wow.
And he was like saying that in the interview, he was like, I would be like, he didn't want that. He's told them, no, I don't want you to do that. But he said it's not like because he doesn't want specifically them. He would feel the same way if it was the Church of Christ, just any church. He was like, that's not the point of this movie. But they did it.
Oh, wow.
And so when he was trying to do scouting for his newest movie, he did it in Poland, and the lady at the office was like, no, because Robert, what his name?
Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers. They said because he's a Satanist. So people think he's a Satanist now because of that. So, and he was like, I'm not, and I guess I'll just say it on the A24 podcast that I am not a Satanist. And so because it gave him a lot of like trouble. And he even had like an email where people can contact him, but now he doesn't do it anymore because a lot of like occult people where just like weird stuff would like be sent to him. So yeah, so I don't know if that entices you, but I think it's a fun little story.
That's a cool story.
Yeah, but
probably not for him, but
I'll talk more about how I feel about that marketing ploy, but yeah, we'll do that next week.
All right.
I'm excited. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, what did you say?
I said, all right, I think that's it.
Okay, I didn't hear that. All right, well, I guess we'll talk in 2 weeks. You're going on vacation, right?
Yeah, going to New York.
Must be nice. Oh, you didn't even talk about that at all. We can talk about it the next time we record then.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be the catch-up thing.
All right.
Talk about my vacation.
Okay, well, send me your video. I'm going to go eat the pizza that's been sitting in the oven for like an hour.
Yeah, we've been recording for an hour. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you later. I'll text you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.